If you have an interest in horses and love learning more about horses, the horse industry, teaching, or even managing your own horse business, then you're in the right place. We would love you to join us on our mission, which is to improve the lives of horses around the world through the education of riders, handlers, and trainers. So get comfortable, listen in, and enjoy.
Today on Horse Chats, we've got Alex Brown. Now, Alex has been here before. Remember, Alex received the Armada Dish, which was presented by Queen Elizabeth for competing at badminton CCR 4-star. Now, CCR 4-star, which is now 5-star. And she did that on 5 consecutive years on the same horse. So that's a feat not done by too many. Alex has been back again and talked to us about improving cross-country riding. And today we're going to be talking about jumping performance. So these principles, I'm sure, will apply to both show jumping and cross-country. So if you only want to do show jumping, that's fine. But Alex has got such a strong dressage flat work background. You know, I'm sure that if you're riding dressage or you're riding trail riding, a lot of the information she's going to give you will be quite relevant to what you do. Now, before we even start that, I'd just like to remind you about the vision of International Horse College. And if you've got the same vision, which is to have a world where people safely appreciate, respect and enjoy their horses, and the horses appreciate, respect and enjoy their people, then have a look at the website, internationalhorsecollege.com, registered training organisation 31352. Now, Alex, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, Glenys. How are you?
I'm well, Alex. We're talking about some principles which, of course, are dear to my heart, so I'm really interested to talk to you. We're talking about improving jumping performance, and I know you're going to talk about getting the basics right. So, and we talk about getting the basics right for dressage and really for all sorts of riding, okay? But when we're getting the basics right for jumping performance, are we talking about dressage or flat work, or are we talking about jumping? What's important about getting the basics right for jumping to improve our jumping performance?
Yeah, and that's a great question, and that's why I think number one point is get the basics right. And people do tend to sort of compartmentalise either I'm jumping or I'm doing flat work, doing dressage, doing poles, whatever, and don't really think of all these things as, interlinked as they should be. And when you say to get basics right, it does, and I'm sorry to put out there, it does mean, yes, dressage, but not dressage as in, you've got to be flying around doing Grand Prix dressage. It's your basic flat work, basic correct way for your horse to go. Just because you're jumping doesn't mean you can kind of forget about having softness and having bend and, having a horse up front of the leg and nice contact. It's the same if you're working on dressage, if you're working on jumping, or even if you're going for a trail ride, or you want the horse to be responsive and going properly. Time if you come to me with problems jumping and the horse is stopping or running out or it's rushing fences, and it's not so much to do with the actual jump. You look at the picture and it's the fact that the horse isn't even straight. The shoulders are not open to the leg. He's got an awful canter. And I think that's sort of the biggest mistake. People ignore having those very fundamental basics way of going established. When you're jumping, you get away with it to a degree for a while at the lower levels, but then as the jumps get bigger and you progress up the ranks, the wheels start to fall off. And it's sort of, it applies to within jumping again. So jumping and cross country, it's all about the horse going in the correct way. Mm-hmm. I've had the clients have come to me and her horse used to really hang up on one side of the rein. It was terrible in his mouth. Couldn't turn, was stiff, was falling in. And every time she went for some jumping lessons, people would be sort of joking, well, you really need to fix that, doing nothing about it and just going, okay, now look at jumping. Whereas it's like, no, how can you turn properly? How can you have him stop so you can, change your strike, change your sense if you've not addressed that problem?
Yep.
So, you can't ignore, the issues which are going on sort of inverted commas, in dressage or flat work, that is part of the thing, and you need to fix that as part of the whole jumping process.
Mm-hmm.
And I find a lot with a lot of my clients, will come going for jumping lesson, will spend a lot of the lesson working on the issues on the flat, and then when you actually jump, the jumping is, the issue has gone away or improved significantly because of the way the horse is coming in the fence or the way the horse is, responding to it. And so, yes, it is very much get the basics right, and the basics, in work, cover everything, cover your dress, your jumping, your cross country, and it's all so interrelated. And I don't think, especially nowadays, things get more technical, so you can just, ignore things and go do this, something that. Yeah, it's all interrelated.
Yeah, because we start to talk about rhythm and balance and things like transitions, engagement, just improving the canter, riding the corners. We sort of think about, well, we've got to improve that for dressage, but you're saying it's pretty important for the jumping as well.
Oh, totally. And that's, again, that's sort of the next point is, if the horse is not working properly, how can you have a flowing rhythm and a balance? If you watch any of the best riders, whether they're show jumping or the cross country, you'll watch them all have soft rhythm, they're so balanced, and these beautiful big canters. Even if they're galloping cross country, they look like they're fighting and pulling and starting. Everything just looks balanced and flowing and together. And that's, I think, the key to a good jumping round is getting in that beautiful balance, getting in that beautiful rhythm. And so often you see, people check around the corner, and then they're looking stride, and then it's pulling back, shooting forward, throwing everything at the fence, and it makes everything harder for the horse and the rider. So they're working on the flat and developing a good petrol or a good trot or whatever. You can then you can ride through the corners. The horse is often your inside leg to the outside rein. Got that great rhythm. You arrive at the fence straight.
Mm-hmm.
You're engaged and soft, and then the fence comes to you. You've got a better chance of actually getting a good stride, and you've got that adjustability as well if you need to. But then even if you get it wrong, the horse still has enough power and propulsion to actually get itself out of trouble.
Okay.
Being a complete disastrous jump. To get that rhythm and balance, going back to know what it's all about, working on the flat, doing the basics, lots of transitions, improving the impulsion and engagement, and making sure the horse is up, in front of us into the contact, the basics again. So it's, very interrelated.
Okay, so if we talk about the before and after the fence, in between the fence, is that more important than over the fence, or more important that, what's more important, between the fences or over the fence?
Well, I mean, obviously the jump is important. You've got to get over it. But, people tend to really focus on all the jump. And, 9 times out of 10, if you actually look at what's happened, 6 or 7 or 8 strides before, or you've gone around the corner before, you can actually predict what's going to happen at that fence. When you watch someone and something's happened, the horse drops off the leg and it's lost the shoulder, they're drifting out. They're nowhere near the fence, but when they get to the fence, it's all going to go wrong. So, you correct it, but you get a good approach. You have the horse again in rhythm, balance. You have a good quality canter or trot, however you can use the fence. And then, pretty much the fence will take care of itself, because you've got the horse there, best position with it, and then he's just to do his job. So really you want us to focus more on the rhythm and the canter coming to the fence, rather than really overthinking, getting a good stride, and the fence will come to you. And even if it's not a great stride, because you've got a good approach and got that good rhythm and balance, then the horse can still deal with it. So
Okay.
adjust and focus on before and the after, and the whole process becomes a lot easier.
Yeah. Now, what about pole work, Alex? How important is that? If we're going to build on that, what would you like to say about pole work? Say if we've got the basics right, we've sort of talked about the basics, rhythm and balance, getting it the before and after, and we start to introduce a bit of pole work. How can we do that? Because we're thinking about improving our jumping performance.
Yeah, well, I love poles, and poles are a perfect way to work on all of these points that we talked about. I could do a whole separate interview on the benefits of pole
Okay.
for any discipline, but I'll try and keep it brief. So that's great for improving the jumping and the flat work. Shoes are great for helping with engagement, suppleness, straightness, letting the horse be aware of what they need to do. I actually do quite a few pole clinic non-jumpers who, or dressage riders or generally just people who want to improve the way the horse is going, the suppleness and the engagement, and have a bit of fun for the horse's mind. But all those issues that they work on are what you need to improve your jumping. And then also using the poles, you can, there's a lot on sort of jumping in inverted commas, without having to over jump. It's also, poles are really great for helping the ride get their eye in. And there's 1,000 different exercises and setups working on all sorts of different things, on adjustability of stride, on that rhythm, on that balance, on getting right. But, even, just for a few, if you're going to keep it simple, just, a few poles in a circle, and even the trot or the canter, getting that rhythm, getting that equal, even balance, so you know how many strides between every pole and you hit every time. Or you can then adjust it and go, well, I'll add a stride here, take a stride out, but, you're keeping the strides the same, they're regular, they're even, and it's all very smooth, and you make sure you hit the pole spot sort of every time. And sort of great for, as I say, you can, practice, your bending lines, making sure you're not losing that shoulder, your leg, listening to your inside leg, your outside leg. Have you got them on the outside rein? So often, your horses just drift, either fall in round corners or drift out, and you lose their outside shoulder. So you put poles on the curve around the circle and ride through the circle, and you can actually see what is happening, and you realise, oh my God, my horse really hangs on to the inside rein and falls in on this rein, and then on the other rein he completely falls out, and I can't get him around. And so that's a great, really good exercise for that.
Yeah.
I can't begin to add up the number of hours I've spent just cantering round and round over poles, or trotting round and round over poles, and there's many things. I will say to the clients, there's nothing pure poles, I reckon. I do get quite obsessed with, and there's 1,000 different exercises.
I was going to say it's probably a good idea for you to come back and talk to us about the different exercises we can do on pole work.
Yes, like I say, there's so many things, you can cure so many different things, but you also need to, and that's kind of what I say, so keep it quite simple. It's quite hard, and then you can start raising poles, which really gets the horse work. So, there's a lot you can do, but you do kind of need to either keep it simple or have someone sort of to help you. Otherwise, you either get it wrong, or you have to just keep getting on and off
all the time. Of course.
But they are an excellent tool, and the simpler, even the really just throw a pole down in the arena, or a couple of poles down in the arena, just integrate them into your flat work.
What about if we move on to the grids and gymnastic exercises? We're still thinking about improving jumping performance.
Yeah.
It's not just all about going around the courses, is it? Tell us a little bit about how the grids and the gymnastic exercises can help us improve.
Yeah, and that's, like the poles, grids are great for, you can use them to address so many different things, even, when you're starting off on the basics, when you're teaching the young horse, you use the grids they can work out actually where their feet are, how they need to sort out what they're doing, how they need to adjust, distances and combinations. I'm using some grids to do this. It's great for the rider because you can just get your horse there, nice and balanced, nice and straight, and then leave him alone and let the grids do their work, and then it's up to the horse. The horse has to jump through. The horse has to think. The horse has to work out, what do I need to do? How do I need to lengthen? Do I need to shorten? How do I pick my feet up? And think that's important when you're using grids. If the grid set up properly, the grid horse do the work. So a horse, don't try and go, oh, I can feel the horse is going to do this. I'll try and help. It's like, no, the horse has got to, make the mistakes and then learn from them himself, so that then he can, when you're out on your course and you screw up or you the horse can get out of trouble. And then also they can be, particularly if you've got particular issues, you want to improve the horse's shape, you want to stop them rushing or they're twisting, whatever. Again, all sorts of different setups that can help help you work on them. And I also I really like trotting into grids. A lot of people, once they get started, they're like, oh, I don't need to go back to trotting. That's for the baby horses. But I think trotting into grids is just so good for the horses because it gets them to actually learn how to sort things out while having the time to think about it. So they really get that confidence that they know what they're doing, and they especially when they know where their legs are, know how they have to pick them up, they know how they have to get out of trouble and work it out, and they're not just, if you're not using grids and trotting and letting them think and work it out, they'll start, if they're a little bit unsure, we just use speed to get over the jump, and just throw everything over and, hope for the best rather than actually looking down, working out, and just popping over. But again, just sort of, a cautionary tale, sort of as with the poles, when you're using grids, you do need someone on the ground because obviously one size doesn't fit all with horses, poles or grids. Okay. And what works for one horse won't necessarily be the same for another. So you kind of need someone with that experience to be able to just tweak the distances, move the poles around, or look at the exercise you're doing and go, no, that's not helping at all. We need to do it this way or do it that way. And you can set up a grid and every horse goes through it a different way. So you need to kind of think, well, how do I need to change it to help that particular horse, what he's doing? And and again, it could be with the same horse 2 different days. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the same. It might be doing something different the next day. So again, you kind of do the amazing tools. You use grids, use poles, but you'll get the most benefit if there's someone there to help you tweak it and really get the value out of fixing the problems.
What about going on from there? If we're riding, multiple fences, courses, what sort of things can we do? If we're lucky enough to have those jumps we can ride over or go out and even, try a couple of cross-country fences and string a few together. What's the main things we should be looking at there? Yeah,
and you want to sort of, again, I think it's really important, especially if you do want to start sort of going out and courses, you just jumping on fence, you can keep jumping and going, I'm amazing, I can keep jumping higher and higher and higher, but it's only when you actually put sort of multiple fences or specific lines together that you suddenly realise how quickly things come up. When you're riding a course, you don't have half an arena to get yourself back organised. Going back to what we were talking about with the approach to landing and the getting in balance, you've got to be landing, getting yourself back organised, getting back the horse back in front of the leg, up into the contact. You need to get them back up. So and it gets you, you need to be focusing not just on one fence as well. As soon as you're in the air of the fence, your focus as a rider needs to be, where am I going next? What am I doing? What's happening when I'm landing? What do I need to change? Where's the next fence? Where's my line? How to ride through the corner? So again, and that's just, you have to practice that, because it does come up super quick. And you can do that, even if you don't have a lot of fences, you can just do some bend lines or do some related distances and just really work on that quick reaction from yourself and your horse. You're getting the balance back, you're doing smooth turns, you're not using the shoulder on the turns, or you're not clean the canter, you're riding through and keeping that rhythm going, the short and the length, etc. And if you can put little courses up, again, really beneficial. Take every opportunity you can to sort of ride little courses and train over little courses. Even, as you say, even if you just go to a friend's house and put some fences up, it's the fact that you're not at home in your arena, you're actually jumping over fences, and that sort of helps you again with your focus and riding a course and reacting sooner and looking up and seeing where you're going. But also, it'll also highlight what you need to work on away from your arena. If you go somewhere different, and what's the horse distracted by? Does he get tense? Have you lost your sort of competition mojo? Getting a bit rusty, sort of get back into things, get your eye back in. So I think, when you're thinking of going out competing, before you actually go to the competition, make sure you're doing lots of little courses, make sure you're going to training days or other people's places and just having a play around with sort of multiple fences, so that you don't get into the ring and it just, it all comes up fast and too much going on, and it doesn't sort of go how you expected it to.
Mm-hmm. Just thinking, like we're practicing the fencing, it's great, we can use the same fences again and again. We get to a competition and there was one a bit spooky, and the horse goes, oh, I've seen lots of fences, but I haven't seen that one. It could have different fillers or water or, be bright. But how can we get the horse used to the spooky fences? Because once they've gone over it a couple of times, it's not spooky anymore.
It's not spooky, and the problem is you don't know what's going to be at the event, so you can't say, well, I've got 10,000 different colours and different spooky fences. So, so number one, it kind of goes back to everything we've talked about. If you get the basics of your approach, so how you're approaching the fence is correct, you've got a better chance of getting it. The horse knows how to stay in the rhythm, stay in front of the leg. I think the contact, you can see it if he drops behind your leg as he catch sight of the big bright fillers, you're onto it straight away, get him back up there, he's responding, he's listening, you get him supple, he doesn't run through the hand. So working on those basics will give you a lot better chance of, he might still be a bit spooky and you have to be quite firm, but he will still be approaching the fence as you want him because of the sort of groundwork you've done. But then obviously, you need to try and sort of let it, practice as well. So, anything that you've got, fillers or bright fences at home, make sure you're getting the opportunity to jump them. Start really slow and small. I would always trot the horse into the first time, when you're at home training or out training. Use your trot so that the horse, same like if you're doing cross country and you're jumping a ditch or into water for the first time, you'd use the trot so the horse can actually look, has the time to look and go, crikey, that's okay. No, you're telling me it's fine, so that's good. So you want them to be able to look, work it out, but then you just aim to, you keep them straight, you keep them in front of the leg into the contact. They know you're there supporting them. You're not using speed, just galloping over and hope that works and doesn't notice it. It's let them see it. Let them look, let them realise they can work it out, they can jump it. They jump it a couple of times and go, oh, well, I don't know what the problem was. That's pretty okay. So then the next time you come to a spooky fence, he can remember back that, that other spooky fence I didn't like, well, it was actually fine and she's riding me confidently in the same way and I can look at it, I can see it's not a big deal. And hopefully should be fine. And a lot of the time, the big scary fences tend to be more ride. If you've done your homework, tend to be more ride frighteners than horse frighteners. So as long, if you can, everything that we've been talking about, the horse is coming in the correct way and is responsive to you, and you're riding forward and straight and confidently, then all the horse will see a top and go, yep, I jump over it.
Okay.
So yeah.
How because we're talking about the horse and and I know that you started off with the basics, and through all of these, you've sort of gone back to the basics all the time, so showing how important that is. But what about your position? What can you say about your position and how important that is to help improve our jumping performance?
Yeah, exactly, and you're exactly right. It's not just the horse. This is a partnership that you're working together on. So your sort of balance and position, obviously has a huge influence on the jump. You need to the jump. You need to really learn. You need to really work on that strong leg position, which not only helps maintain the momentum and the horse going forward, but it's your strength and gives you the balance, so you can keep that nice quality of canter, but you're actually balanced and working with the horse. You're not using your hands for balance or body moving around to balance. You're centered and you're nice and soft and together, and supporting the horse, not hindering it or distracting it as it's sort of coming into the fence. Because you need to look at things like you're going to jump. If you're going forward too soon and drawing the contact, then that's putting all your weight forward onto the horse's shoulders. And pushing the horse down on his forehand. So then it's really hard work for the horse to sit up and snap up in front. And the horse thinks, oh my God, you've dumped everything onto me and dropped the contact and do it all to me. Great, I won't bother them. Or alternatively, if you're sort of giving enough or hanging onto the contact, the horse then can't, stretch his head and neck forward. So you get that awkward hollow cat jump with the head curled back, or, if you're sitting a bit defensively on his back, flattens to his back, and that's when you start, pulling the poles with your hind legs. So, your position can greatly influence the horse that, because if you think, it's all about your weight, so where you put your weight, your weight's all being put forward on the forehand, or it's all back, against the horse, or if they're trying to jump a big fence, and it's, it makes the job a lot harder for them. If they're good for trying, but eventually they'll be like, you know what, it's a little bit hard. So, and again, to sort of, to help improve your position, we talk about the grids. Grids again are a great tool to help. They help the horse because you can lead the horse alone, and the grids just help them work through it. Same with you. You get a nice, easy grid set up for the horse. The horse can just go, and you can stop thinking about the fence almost, leave it alone, and just work on and concentrate on your position and your balance and your hand and what you're doing. Again, keeping it really small, keeping it really simple, but just really just playing around and again keeping that balance so that you feel that the two of you are very much together in a partnership.
So if we're talking about, improving performance, and this has been really good because you've sort of started with the basics and gone right through and done lots of exercises, and talked about position. But say we're at a competition and we need to go out and walk the course. What can we do to walk the course that's going to help our performance?
Yeah, and that's sort of, you've done all your homework, you've put on all this effort in at home, and everything's going well. Get to the competition and let yourself down by making really silly mistakes on the course. And that's not just about, people kind of walk the course and go, oh yeah, the course, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's not just about, the way to go, or the way you're going. It's you really need to think about the lines you're going to take, related distances. How does that actually relate to your horse? It's fine sort of walking a nice standing line of that you think is going to be 4 strides, but does your horse drift out when it goes to the left? So, you've got to really be conscious of that. Whereas your horse got really short stride, it's like, well, actually walks along. That's a big horse. Maybe I need to be moving forward a bit more. You've got to know. So that if your horse got a big stride or a small stride, and relate that to the course, and also to the different fences. If you've got a big 2-stride double and it's walks sort of quite tight, if it's a big ox in, then you really have to sit up and keep the forehand up. So otherwise they'll rush through and probably crush through the second part. It's, long and a big fence coming out and not so big coming in. You've got to really ride a bit more strongly coming in to, make the second part. And again, if you've got to know your horse and how that applies to yours. And you also kind of think about, again, ride your corner. You're doing all this work on getting a nice rhythm, getting a nice balance, riding into the corners, so you're riding through the corners. So, really walk, don't just skip from fence 3 and just cut across to fence 4. Really walk the route you're going to do. So I'm going to go deep into the corner. I'm going to have him tight on my outside rein. He's bending my inside leg. And we're, really motoring through the corner because it's a big oxer coming off a couple of strides, going back down to the diagonal. And so it's sort of really paying attention. And also on that as well, so paying attention to what's going on around, the sideline distractions. The Sierra's fence, of course, is directly going away from the entry to the ring, and all your horsey friends are stood at the entry, and obviously you've got to think about how you ride past that. If you're at a big ag show and it's a big fairground, we're all going on in the corner. Be really sort of conscious of what is around the ring, what's likely to affect them. And don't sort of done all the hard work. So don't make silly mistakes just from not being very conscientious and planning what you're doing and knowing your horse. It's funny. I always laugh. I've got a 10-year-old daughter, and we go to the little pony club gymkhana, and you see all the kids striding out their fences and their distances, and it's so cute. And they there'll be a double, and it'll be 8 massive strides, and they'll be like, "Oh yes, 8 strides and a double. That's a 1 stride. My horse will put 1 stride," and then you kind of go, "Oh, you're jumping 45 centimeters across poles. You're on a 12-2 pony and trotting. Yep. There's no way in this world you're going to get 1. You're going to be 2 at least, So it's sort of being very, and again, obviously, young kids, but it still happens, as you get older, you've got to be, just because, what technically should happen, you've got to relate it to your horse, and, and you know all that through the work that you've done at home of, you've got a very short striding horse, you've got a very long striding horse, or, you've got a horse. Yeah, exactly. So it's just really just not letting silly mistakes ruin what should be, a great result and explanation of your hard work, really.
I'm just thinking because, like jumping is a confidence sport. We've got to have a confident rider, confident horse. Before you go, if you've got something that we can focus on to make sure that we've got confidence for ourselves, for the horse, because we want to improve our jumping performance. But if we've lost confidence or our horse has lost confidence, nothing's going to happen, no matter how much flat work we do, no matter how much preparation. It's the whole, the jumps start to get bigger. What can we do then to be confident as we increase? Even 45 centimetres is pretty big for some people. So, what can we do to increase confidence?
Yeah, and I think, and that, again, I think this is a massive point, is the confidence that you need to have. You need to have the confidence in the horse. The horse has to have the confidence in himself, and as a combination, you need to be confident. So you do your homework, everything we've talked about earlier. You getting the basics right, you're giving the horse the best opportunity to be confident in his jumping and you to have faith in him. So the basics are established and the horse can get you out of trouble. But then if you go out and you see it sort of so often that people just rush through things and they see that their peers or whoever are jumping 4 classes higher and they just feel like, they've got to rush through and just overface themselves. So really, and you see it all the time, people just move up through the levels way too quickly, I think. I think you've got to really get the basics right and consolidate, don't be in too much of a hurry. Really consolidate your experience, get out there, get that experience, do the smaller courses, do them perfectly so every time you're going out, it's perfect round. It's not, you're not oohing and ahhing and go, oh my God, that was a lucky escape, or God, the horse got me out of trouble there. If that's happening too much, then you need to stop and you need to go back to the basics and readdress why is my round not looking pretty? What is going wrong? There's way too many near misses and messy moments. So what do I need to change? Do I need to, improve the quality of the canter? Do I need to get straight? Do I need to do gymnastic work? What do I need to do? You do that before the horse then goes, you know what? Way too many sticky moments. I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. So don't be afraid. If things are not going well, don't be afraid to drop back and build again. Find out what's going wrong and build on it. Because if you've done you've got the basics established, you've done the hard work, your fundamentals are built, it won't be too hard to drop back. You've got that baseline and you can move forward.
Okay.
And any hiccup you've come across, building blocks are there, so you can just quickly fix it and you can move forward. But really, and I guess that's a long way of answering your question, but yeah, I think don't be in a hurry to rush through the grades. Make sure you are consistently confident. You've got that experience. The horse has got the experience, and then move up. But keep checking in. Look at your rounds and go, was that a good round, or was that a bit of a, oh my goodness, heart in the mouth kind of round? And if it is, go and get some help. Go and get some, get back to the basics. Get your poles out, get your grids out, and revisit. And then it'll stop the wheels falling off too much. You'll have a little hiccup, in the road, but you can fix it and move on and have fun with your jumping again.
Alex, I think, all your advice starting off straight away, the first bit was let's get the basics right. And you've gone right through, built on that and then still gone to confidence. Like, say you're doing well, say you've gone through and you're doing well, everything's going well, still go back. Keep thinking about your confidence. And she said, don't be afraid to, if you get too many sticky moments, to drop back a grade or just stay where you are and get it all sorted out. I think that's just really good advice. And, we talked about this improving your jumping performance, but these sorts of principles are very good for, I think, any competitors. Get your basics right.
Yeah.
Continual gradual improvement. But if you get too many sticky moments, go back a grade, consolidate what you know. Don't just keep moving up through the grades. So I think for any competitor, anyone that's doing any training horses, it's not like a house where you just do another brick, another brick, another brick.
Yeah.
Sometimes horses need to establish. So great advice, Alex.
Exactly. And that's, that is the thing. And I think a lot of people, and it's a bit of a pride, a bit of an ego thing. People, once they've got to a level, they're like, oh, well, I don't want to, I'm doing one meter. Why don't I drop down to 80 or 90? That'll just be embarrassing. What will people say? And it's like, who cares, You drop down and you fix the problem. You only might be one event that you have to do that at. Get back on track, get everything firing on all cylinders again, and then move forward again. Whereas if you keep playing away when it's not, things are going wrong, then it's going to be a lot bigger fallback that you've then got to build up again.
Yep.
So a classic example, when you're eventing, you go and do your 5-star, you go jump around badminton, but then the next event you do, you don't, when, the horse then comes out again, you don't go, okay, now I'll do another 5-star. You drop back and just do a nice little advance going, look, badminton was probably really hard, was really hard. But look, see, it's easy. The next thing, it's easy, and the horse goes, "Oh God, yeah, I love this. I forgot how much I love this." And then you build, then the next one you go back up again. You don't have to keep, you can have little confidence boosts, I guess, and it doesn't have to. You don't have to wait for things to go wrong. Even when things are going well, you can go, "Well, I'm feeling like the horse is working really hard. I'm feeling like they've had a really big learning curve. They're doing amazingly, but let's just give them like a nice, easy confidence boost and."
Yes.
Drop down from 125 to 120, and the horse suddenly has a new lease of life. I think that is a big block, especially, I think that is a big block that people tend to worry about. Well, what will people say? Last week they saw me jump in this class, and now I'm jumping that. What are they going to say? Hopefully people are too busy working on their own stuff to worry about you, and if they're worrying about you, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Now, Alex, if people would like to contact you, to ask you for some advice, or even just to say, can you talk about this in your next chat, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Probably the easiest way is to jump on I've just sort of set up a little website, new website, so alexbrownequestrian.com.au, and then that's just got all my contact details. It's got my mobile and my email and Facebook page, so easiest thing, just drop me a line and we can arrange a time and have a good chat. Yeah.
And if you've missed those details, just go to horsechats.com. You can search for Alex or search for Brown, and you'll find her contact details at the bottom of each of her chat. And remember, she's done a couple, so this will be, I think, your third chat, Alex. But we've also had a listener's choice. So the listener's choice are people who want to go back and listen again. And we've had so it's sort of technically your fourth chat, but you've only done 3.
Right.
People, when we go back over our old chats, if there's some that have been a bit of a standout where we've had more listens than usual, we put them back as a listener's choice. So I'm sure that, if you've heard this before now, you'd want to go back and listen to Alex's previous chats as well. So, Alex, thank you for coming. Thank you for chatting. And we look forward to talking to you a lot more, because I'm sure you could go into a lot more depth just with pole exercises or just with grid work exercises, or what things can happen, and I suppose potential problems, and then the solutions, and how how we can fix up those things. So looking forward to chatting with you again.
Yes, definitely. My pleasure. Thank you very much. Thanks, man.
Okay, thanks, Alex. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you've enjoyed this chat, then please comment, rate and subscribe. If you'd like any changes or recommendations for guests, then please contact us through horsechats.com. And while you're online, have a look at the government-accredited courses at internationalhorsecollege.com. Registered Training Organisation 31352.
Remember that our comments and instructions are general in nature and do not take into consideration your individual horses or your individual ability and circumstances. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please leave your comment below.